Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is, of course, me, Kyle Brenchley, K. Brench in the house. It is Thursday and I am feeling good. Welcome to another edition of the greatest podcast this side of the Jordan River. Shout out to the candle. We got it burning right there. Shout out to Rogue One. Exciting Star Wars news always on the horizon. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking and wrapping up football. We'll be talking about the Super Bowl, talking about my analysis. We'll also be taking a look into baseball season. That is right. Spring training starts 7 days from today, if you can believe it. Here we go. I'm repping my Andrew McCutchen jersey for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And of course, we'll take a look at Bracketology and the updated rankings for your favorite college basketball teams. But first, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, that is where you can find this podcast. It is called Fan Talk. Search it up. Give me a like. Give me a listen. Share it with your friends if you enjoy. And we just have a great old time here at Fan Talk, so I appreciate the support. Okay, let's do Song of the Week. So far, we've done 3 songs. This will be the 4th. Who is ready for it? Let's go ahead here. Let's come over here. We will share my screen. We'll take a look. We'll take a look here. Go ahead and share my screen. Careful, it might be a little inception, but here we go. Here is the song. Starts now. All right, that is all you get. 15 seconds. Again, if you know what the song is, comment it down below or DM me on Instagram, Twitter. I link all my socials down below. Let me know. If you're close enough to me, shoot me a text, I guess. Guess the song. I'll be keeping a running total. Winner gets a $25 gift card to the restaurant of their choice. Okay, so the Super Bowl has happened. As you can tell, I'm already moving on. I got my baseball jersey here. That's just the nature of sports. One season ends and another one begins. But Super Bowl 58 did not disappoint. Well, it depends on who you ask. To the casual football fan, this was an incredible Super Bowl. 2 heavyweight teams going head to head, low scoring in the first half. Second half, the offenses take off, lots of scoring. It goes into overtime. And eventually the Kansas City Chiefs win on a touchdown with 3 seconds left in overtime. So, I mean, Usher performed at halftime. Taylor Swift was there with Ice Spice and Blake Lively and freaking everybody. LeBron in the house. They had a Nickelodeon broadcast that had SpongeBob and Patrick Star broadcasting the game. It was just a good time to the casual observer. However, and I've mentioned this before, I was rooting for the 49ers, not because I'm a fan, but because I did not want the Chiefs to win. I think football fans who have kind of followed the Chiefs throughout the season, especially fans of teams that the Chiefs either A, beat or they're rivals of, like in my situation, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, never support the Chiefs because they're rivals, same kind of deal. I think fans from those perspectives and also, just fans that have kind of been fed up with the whole publicity with Travis and Taylor and all that, I think they were kind of disappointed in the game. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, and I know I say that a lot here on the podcast, but as I've watched a lot of football, not just this year, but throughout the years, year after year, and not just my team. I don't like a lot of fans just watch their teams. I watch all the games. I watch it when it's the Carolina Panthers versus the Tennessee Titans, and nobody gives you know what. So I I watch a lot of football, and I recognize patterns. I understand defenses, yada yada yada. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert because I'm not. I'm just when I watch a lot of football from your couch, you start to recognize patterns, and you guys can agree. And for years, I've watched this Kansas City Chiefs team, and I pretty much know how the story's gonna go. And it's not too hard. I'm not the only one that knew how the story was going to end. Once that blocked PAT, once Jake Moody's PAT was blocked, I kind of figured that the game was over. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are a dynamic team, very talented, hands down to them. They're greatly coached, great athleticism, great clutch. I'm giving them their kudos. And because of that, the margin of error when you play the Kansas City Chiefs is this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Probably not because it's so small. You literally cannot make mistakes. You make a mistake, the Chiefs capitalize every single time. And then when they make mistakes, you have to capitalize. But the 49ers did not do that. There was the interception by Patrick Mahomes early in the second half when the 49ers were up by 7. They could have, kicked a field goal at least. Even better, score a touchdown, and you're up by 14, you're up by 2 scores. But they did not do anything with the short field. And then that blocked PAT left the door open for the Chiefs to go down the field, kick a field goal, and tie it. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, if they were down by 4, fourth down, the Chiefs would have maybe gone for it and won the game in regulation. So it maybe played to the 49ers' favor. All in all, it ultimately was one of the many thorns in the side of the San Francisco 49ers that prevented them from winning that game. They missed the PAT. They go to overtime. In overtime, they can't score a touchdown. Now, there were new rules in the postseason that the NFL had posted about overtime. Each team had an opportunity to possess the ball. So back in the day, overtime in the NFL was kind of cheap. It was first team to score. So you get the ball and you go kick a field goal and the game would be over. Then they changed it so the team would go down. If they kick a field goal, the game's not over. The other team would have an opportunity to possess the ball. Then they changed it to whereas both teams get an opportunity to possess the ball on offense unless there is a defensive touchdown. So what that means was in this game, the 49ers were going to get a chance and the Chiefs were going to get a chance. Both teams were going to get a chance no matter what, unless there was a pick six or a fumble or a defensive touchdown on the first, play of the game. So 49ers, they drove down, they had a great drive, but then they stalled in the red zone, had to settle for a field goal. And at that point, I already knew the Chiefs were going to score a touchdown. So when they kicked that field goal, I was like, the game's over. The game is over. And like I said, the casual football fan, they're probably like, ooh, we're on the edge of our seats. We wonder what's going to happen. What's going to happen? Is Patrick Mahomes going to save the day? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I knew it was coming. It came. Kansas City Chiefs won. They're first back-to-back Super Bowl champions since the Patriots did it at Super Bowl 38 and 39. So it's been about 20 seasons since that has happened. Hopefully they don't three-peat, but they're looking like heavy favorites to do so, even though the odds are Vegas has San Francisco as the favorite. But clearly, did they not just watch the game? The Chiefs just beat them? I don't know. Kind of silly. I think Chiefs are the favorites next season. Somebody out there, please stop them. Please, please, please. Also, I want to mention this real quick. Our heartfelt prayers and condolences go out to those who were involved in the Kansas City Super Bowl parade celebration shootings. Unfortunately, there was a scuffle. This was the latest reports. There was a scuffle and gunshots came out. At least 11, 12 people that were injured were children. I think 22 total were injured. One person confirmed dead as of today. So very, very, very sad there. Unfortunate. Prayers go out to the Kansas City community as a whole. It's unfortunate that that has happened, and hopefully we can move on from that. Okay, let's keep on rolling. Let's jump into some baseball. That's right. Can you believe it? Spring training is coming 1 week away. Here, let's take a look. I will share my screen. Let's take a look at the slate for what is going on. Here we go. Here we are. So, 7 days away. That's crazy. That's crazy. Spring training opens up down in Florida and Arizona. So as you can see, the Padres and the Dodgers kick it off there Thursday at 1:10 p.m. I've never watched a spring training game. I'll be completely honest with you. I've never watched a spring training day. With T-Mobile, our cell provider, we get MLB TV on them, so we can actually watch spring training games and games all season long. It's pretty cool. We can also watch minor league baseball games, which is super fun. I've never done that either. Maybe I'll look into that at some point this season. But this is just a preview. I want to do an episode, and I will do an episode later on with my good friend Daniel. He's been on the show before. He's my baseball expert. I'll bring him on, and we'll preview the 2024 MLB season. He's got a podcast as well that you can check out. So I'll bring him on later on. But I do want to mention that the Pittsburgh Pirates, not a great team. Historically, a lot better back in the day. But, in recent years have remained at the bottom of the league per se. Here's some things that have happened in the off season, and I want to just mention these here because there won't be a lot of talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates all year. They're kind of projected to be, towards the bottom of the league again. But on January 31st, as you can see here, they agreed to terms with Aroldis Chapman on a one-year contract. This relief pitcher, of course, was with the Texas Rangers last year. He is a World Series champion. He was with the Yankees for years. He started out with the Cincinnati Reds, played 1 year with the Cubs. Very good relief pitcher to add to the bullpen. Unfortunately, though, with every step forward, there is a step back. Johan Oviedo is going to need Tommy John surgery, 60-day IL. Yikes. It's just unfortunate the way it is. Really, if you think about it, pitching is one of the hardest things to do when you're hucking the ball 100 miles an hour multiple times over and over again. Surely you're going to throw out your elbow. The Tommy John surgery, it deals with, down here in the elbow area of the arm, and it's just nasty, straight nasty. But yeah, like I said, we'll do a baseball episode here coming up. But I just want to show my Pittsburgh Pirates jersey and bring in the 2024 season. Speaking of bringing things in, there's been a lot of talk about the MLB coming to Utah. There's just been some news in recent days that the Larry H. Miller Group wants to build a huge baseball complex, plaza, restaurants, everything, and putting the stadium out there sort of west of the downtown area, further west on the other side of I-15 on the west side there over by the Jordan River. They really want MLB to Utah. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking MLB makes a lot of sense to bring a franchise here. And not just that, but think about it this way. Here's one little thought, and then we'll move on to bracketology. Baseball, there's 162 games in a regular season, which about half of those, you can expect half of those, to be home games. Somewhere around 80 to 85 home games. And MLB stadiums are generally a lot bigger. They can fit a lot more people. Ticket prices will be a lot less. Ticket prices are already a lot less for baseball games than, say, NFL, NBA. NFL, you only got 8 home games. So, and the way that league is, the tickets are through the roof. NBA, you got maybe 40 to 41 home games. Tickets are through the roof, especially recently here in Utah. Utah Jazz tickets are through the roof. Maybe if you're a fan of the Wizards or the Hornets, you can get good tickets. But here in Utah, the tickets are through the roofs. Baseball, you got a ton of games, and it's even though it's a new team coming to Utah, not every game is going to be sold out. Ticket prices aren't going to be crazy. It makes sense to bring a team, a league like MLB to a small market like Utah, to give them an opportunity to fill the seats, to sell, but also to allow people to afford to go to the games and obviously have a good time. They're building the plaza there, so a lot of money will go into that, and a lot of people will spend money there. So Interesting thing to keep note, about a year ago, I reported on MLB coming to Utah. Now it seems like a great possibility. The Oakland Athletics might also play in Utah temporarily while their Las Vegas home gets built. We'll see about that. Um, there's been some news about maybe it's not going to happen in Las Vegas either, so we'll keep an eye on that moving forward as well. Okay, let's now shift. Let's jump into college basketball. We are getting to March. We are 13 days away from March. Today is February 15th. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day yesterday, by the way. I hope you guys had great fun yesterday. I watched the movie Valentine's Day. Great movie. It's got so many stars. Go check it out. I was laughing out loud. I watched that, had a good time, and I hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day as well. Okay, let's take a look at Bracketology real quick. So it was updated 2 days ago on Tuesday. So any games that happened last night or even Tuesday night would not be considered. But shout out to my boy Jack Scott. He's got a podcast that is very heavily focused on bracketology right now. Every time there's a new release, he gives a breakdown video, and he's kind of the college basketball expert guy. So go check out his channel. I'll link it down below. But here we go. Bracket watch. Purdue, obviously playing superb right now. Currently on the bubble. Let's just take a look at the bubble, then we'll look at the 68 team bracket. The last four byes, again, are the teams that get into the tournament without having to play in this mini tournament. As I mentioned before, the last four in are essentially four teams that play in this mini tournament to get into the 68 team tournament. Again, it's just fun to throw, 8 more teams to make it, a 76 team bracket. But currently, as you can see, Utah, for those who are Utah fans that watch this podcast, they're currently the last four in. A couple of tough losses lately. I think they need to continue to win. I think they also need to do fairly well in the Pac-12 tournament to have a chance. They might find themselves on the outside looking in, especially with the Gonzaga team trending up right now, as well as a Seton Hall team who just played very, very well. And don't count out these other Big East teams, Providence, Villanova, St. John's, all can make a run in the Big East tournament. Okay, currently, I just want to maybe guess at some front runners for the Final Four, and then look ahead to the games that will be happening in Salt Lake, and then call it a wrap for today. So Purdue, UConn, I think they're top of the class. I think it's them and everyone else. Arizona and Houston are in there as well. I don't think they are as good as Purdue and UConn. My initial reaction is to be a little wary of Purdue because of the tournament history. They've choked the last couple years. Obviously, last year they fell to number 16, Farley Dickinson. And what a run Farley Dickinson had to the Sweet 16. But this is Zach Edey's redemption arc. I almost wonder, will they collapse, or will Zach Edey and this much improved Purdue team prevail and find themselves in the Final Four? I think UConn finds themselves in the Final Four. They're a very solid team, and they honestly kind of have a weak, as it stands right now, a weak East division. The 2 seed is North Carolina, who's faltered to Syracuse, who they also lose to, I think, Clemson and Georgia Tech. They've lost to some mid ACC teams in there. As the 2 seed, Auburn, they just had a big 50-point victory over South Carolina, but they've stumbled before. My boys at Oklahoma, they're a good team, not a great team, so they're not going to make a huge splash. Maybe a Sweet 16 appearance, maybe not. I don't know. They might not even make it out of the first round. Baylor could pose a threat, but I think that UConn team would win straight up. These rest of these teams competitive, but I don't think they would stand a chance against UConn. Let's shout out Utah State real quick. Utah State currently top in the Mountain West, sitting as a 7 seed. I believe if they win the Mountain West and continue to win out the rest of this season, they'll get a solid, probably a 6 seed for them. It's currently a 7 seed versus a Butler team. That'd be a very interesting game. And then Arizona, Houston, both those teams are good. I could see them getting upset, though. Let's take a look here at the Salt Lake games. Arizona will be playing there. Texas, Mississippi State, BYU, Stanford, Wisconsin, UC Irvine, and then the winner of that game as it is projected right now. I'm going to be going to those games in Salt Lake, at least the Thursday games, at least these first couple games here. I'll probably be hitting it up with Jack Scott, as of course I said, I'll mention his channel down below. We'll give you some great college basketball coverage there. And of course, Utah currently sitting as the first four in, or the first four, the last four in, the last four in. But yeah, a quick conference breakdown. Of course, the Big 12 is kind of the king of college basketball when it comes to teams that get in. 9 of the 12 teams going to get in. That's pretty impressive. The Mountain West, though, shout out to them for having 6. Usually they have, the winner and then 1 or 2 more. So usually they have like 3 teams that get in. 6 projected to be in right now. So again, we'll keep an eye on Bracketology as it gets continued to get updated as we get closer to the actual season, or the actual tournament. Then every single day there will be an update to Bracketology. Now it's about every 2 to 3 days. So keep an eye on that. All right, guys, that does it for me today here on Fan Talk. Thank you guys for listening. Again, you can find this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Guess your songs down below. Stay tuned for a baseball episode with my good friend Daniel, as well as college basketball coverage with my good friend Jack. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Let's have a great Thursday night, and I will see you guys next week for another edition of